The other one they just about missed. Huh?
Yeah, that's
But it's not pudding.
14 bags of croutons, 15 apples, 20 eggs, 15 onions.
This was all voted in.
This is, what is this? The cousins reunion? Cousins what?
We didn't dare call it a reunion. The aunts didn't want this. This is not a reunion.
All right, what is it? What is it supposed to be?
This is the George Miaski hog roast. Anybody who got an invitation and wanted to come get it.
Well, okay, but is this going to be an annual thing or once in a while?
It's, we'll all see by the end of tomorrow. If everybody behaves themselves, those who doesn't overeat.
Okay. This is Elvie's place. Kansas wind. Just as you would imagine it. Elvie's cattle. Garden. And of course, the original home with the tire sandbox.
George Miaski reunion. And hopefully we'll have a beautiful day and get to have a lot of fun.
Many times we went swimming in that dirty water there.
Look at all his cattle.
Yeah, see, he's feeding them out. Now they're feeding them out for the
Does he
market.
take care of all? They're on, aren't they?
This is where you were born, Milton?
No, I wasn't born here.
This is where his mother lived when before she went to the nursing home, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, she used where that building is there used to be a garage over there. And this is a hen house. Maybe he's made a garage out of it now. Look at that old Chevrolet pickup, would you? Oh, that's an oldie.
So
What a
how
goodie.
old were you when you moved to this?
Let's go see him again.
This is
just
Jake.
the only chance we had of coming to see the old home place. Go up to the hog roast tonight.
Huh? Oh, I don't know. Sure we are. Yeah. Okay.
Might want to take pictures of them if they want to.
Robin? Why not? Why not? You ain't in that picture.
You remember the old place now?
Yeah, I do. I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you remember they called you fancy pants? I mean, yeah,
No.
that was Robin.
No, it wasn't. It was
That was Jenny.
Yeah.
Fancy pants.
I'll have to tell her about that.
How you doing?
Okay.
Good to
But the pantry door was about right here,
Yeah.
and then there was a folding, and
Yeah,
And
they went full
the
length.
cook stove was here, and then there was a chimney right where this wall is.
I don't remember
Changed
the
things a
chimney.
little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it probably
there's-
would have stayed the same if the floors wouldn't have gave way. When the floors start
Yeah.
doing things.
That's the only thing that's left.
Done a lot of work, huh?
I don't
Yeah, and when we first moved here, who was it, Aunt Bessie or somebody who fell through the floor? She stepped here and fell through the floor and Pop had to lift her up. You don't remember that?
She fixed that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Everything is, this here is all new.
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to talk her into singing gospel.
Yeah.
I told her, wow.
Got a bathroom here and then one upstairs. If you go upstairs, go up to Mark's up there though.
Used to be right there on the right. And right here is where I'd always get my hair cut. Once on the right here where it says,
Hall Enterprises?
Knoll Enterprises.
Uh-huh. What did Hull do to your hair anyway?
Fredonia State Bank was right there. That's where Pop done business, that red building.
George's Barber Shop, look at that.
Yeah, and it used to be, Rocky Cantor was the president of the place. And if LV ever listens to it, he will remember Rocky Cantor. And he was the president. This is a square. They tore down the old courthouse. I don't think they should have done that. And the old hotel is still here. Let's see, there used to be a theater over there with a Service
Can I sit
Star
there for a few
Hardware. It
minutes?
used to be a supermarket.
Please. How many gums you chewing?
One
Have
of
you
the-
chewed every bit of it?
With Diane? Right here, one of these used to be a theater. I think this Wilson County Abstract used to be one. These places here we never did go much to. I don't know what these places are. Used to be IGA grocery store, I guess, for West Side Plaza, where Mom always bought her groceries. And I don't know what this building here was in the corner, but I remember the IGA. But
Worry about where we're sitting.
Yeah, we're definitely on some
All right, here we have arrived at One Each Maskey family
Westminster
reunion.
Park.
Yeah, in Westminster Abbey, England.
Westminster Park.
We drove all the way here. Approaching the gathering. Yeah, this is it.
Big ski big ski.
Oh. You're all Maskies, right? Ratzlaffs? Maskies?
Gotta take care of them, huh? How many do you have? I have 3, but none of mine are here.
Not any of them?
I'm the black member of the family, remember?
Yeah,
They live
I
with their
remember.
dad.
You live in California.
She's only one, Yes. I'm one. I tell you this every time. She swims and walks and everything. Any of these companies yeah, and she said something about it all. Yeah, we don't have it fixed up yet. We haven't fixed it up. Oh. They're gonna fix it up yet, so.
We got it.
Right here. And, oh, toothpicks, Julie, they're on this table in the kitchen, right in the toothpicks. Here, just let me have He's gonna put a maraschino cherry in the aisle. Yeah.
No, Dad hasn't been ready. He'll get back to it in a year. On a circuit, he'll be ready to be in tomorrow.
Well, we have some particular things about too.
Don't concentrate so much, just throw the ball.
Ah! Strike two! Strike three!
Oh, yeah.
Good try there, Linda.
Well, actually, yeah, in the cockpit.
Oh, yeah, they're short people and they're tough to deal with. A man who's 40 years old, he's
We're not here to play. We're just here to.
We were a close family, and we had our good times and our sad times. Papa's prayer was, his prayer was to keep us from disgrace and shame. I know Papa, he prayed that many a times. I don't know if he feared we'd all be a disgrace and shame to them, but he prayed that. He often prayed that. And we had devotions in the morning and the evening, and I always thought of Mom as a saint. Seemed like she had to put up with a lot, and she always seemed she wasn't emotional one way or the other. And I remember about reading, our family, we had newspapers around all the time, and I know when Mom was in bed with Betty, why, Papa, he read to her about Lindbergh taking a solo flight. It's still so plain to me today that he sat by her bedside and read to her about that. And then I have a letter here that I want to read that. Oh, maybe I have the wrong one here. called him Dad. The rest of them called him Papa. He said, I don't like to be called Papa, even though it was modern to call everybody Dad, but he didn't want to be called that. But he wrote this to me, to us. In 1944, our dearest children, may the grace of our Heavenly Father be with you is my wish for you all. First of all, I wish to inform you that we have had a very powerful sermons every night. And yesterday afternoon we have self-examination, and I believe that God forgave us. Our sins we did confess one to another and forgave one another. And if nothing comes in the way, then we will have communion tomorrow afternoon. I pray you, if you have anything against me, forgive me. For I wish to go to communion. With the rest, and Mama says the same thing. Also, Jakey, Betty, and Anna. Thankful to God. Prayer that she taught me when I was very young. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. This prayer has been a comfort to me in my teenage years and also as an adult. I remember when my parents were converted. I was 9 years old. Now Betty and I, we have a disagreement here. I had Brother Jake Barkman, Elma Wither's father, baptized us. But baptized them.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Okay. One incident that was special on the way home from church. This was when they were baptized. Papa and Mama were singing, "Love Not the World, Its Dazzling Show, Conceals the Snare of Death." I was happy and contented, though I was too young to really understand our conversion experience then. My mother was a hard worker, caring for 8 children in poverty and depression years. Papa was gone much of the time trying to make money for clothes and shoes. Mama always had a big, well-kept garden. She raised her own chickens and eggs for meat. I remember one time we were cleaning yard and burning trash. At night the wind changed, blowing the ashes against the only pile of corn in a wire crib that we had, and the entire pile burned up. Another time a fierce storm came up. It started to hail. Mama gave each one of us older children a smaller one to care for and took us to the storm cave. My brother Milton was hit on the eye by a huge stone. I said that he still had the scar. He tells me the scar is gone, so it must seem more serious to me than what it was. Then the hail and the rain poured down. The cellar was taking in water, and I knew we would all drown, but Mama quietly told us all to pray, and we'd be all right. What a comfort. The wind tore down our windmill. The hail broke all the windows on the north and the west side of the house. I was too young to remember crop damage. I do not remember my mother complaining. Rather, she sang in the trials of life. At the cross, I first found the Lord, and the burdens of my heart rolled away. And Rock of Ages clipped for me, let me hide myself in thee. I remember Papa and Mama discussing the daily devotion readings, and it has helped me in my Christian life to better understand the Bible. Now a few everyday happenings. One day Papa brought home a package and left again before it was opened. Mama opened it and found it was sticks of dynamite. She put it up on the highest shelf in the pantry, telling us to absolutely not to touch it. And we didn't. When Papa got home, he told us it was a jumping rope. It wouldn't happen. Mama was not interested in politics, neither science. She didn't really believe that the earth was round and that it was round or flat. She didn't care. But she was a strict Christian mother. Her method of keeping the home pure was experienced by my brothers. They brought home, or should I say tried to, neckties, smoking material, and other things, but she disliked them. The boys couldn't afford her method, so our home had none of these things. She was hospitable. Anyone visiting our congregation was invited for a meal or lodging. I can still hear her say, "Well, girls, it's Saturday. We'll have to prepare for tomorrow." In later years, she had to adjust to Papa being gone. He was talkative. She was shy and quiet. Finally, with declining health, she stayed with different homes for children. This home expresses her in our home. Love and pet me now. Take my little hands in yours, children of my soul. Mother's heart is craving love. Mother's growing old. See the snow of many years crown my furrowed brow. As I've loved and petted you, love and pet me now. Take my withered hands in yours. Hold them close and strong. Cheer me with a fond caress. Will not be for long. You, immortal, soon will crown with its wreath my brow. But as I've loved and petted you, love and pet me now. When we were unable to care for Mother anymore, she went to the nursing home. The last visit with her was a blessing, though sad. She was very frail. I asked her, "Mama, are you warm enough?" And she answered yes. And I said, "Do you enjoy your food?" Again she said yes. And then I asked, "What do you do all day?" She looked out the window and she said, "I prayed." That was the last time I seen my mother alive. Then I will read a little piece that I put here. My mom and pop. In a way, we were privileged children. How many children in our day and age knew all about sesame seed candy, smoked salmon, caviar, raw herring, and pickled herring? A dad who could sing in Russian and play a banjo. Pop loved to entertain, and anyone who came to Fredonia was invited to our house, especially boys. And Mom, she had better prepare for Sunday, and when I say prepare, that's what it was. Clean the inside of the cupboards. My job, scrub the porch, the toilet. A cake was baked, jello set, just in case, bread baked, potatoes boiled with jackets. Mom was the manager. And one thing I remember, she loved Papa. I think sometimes we children got a little weary, but Mama loved Papa. That's what I remember. Mom was hard on me. I was more like Papa.
My dad, I had a wonderful dad. He was a good brother. He could make money, but I'm sorry to say he didn't know how to save it. But I know he isn't the only one. A lot of people make money today, but to save money is rather difficult. And Dad, he educated himself by reading. He went to school at Durham when he was 19 years old. And if you want to see the report card, it's over there with Isaac. He showed it to me about many years back, where Dad was a student at Durham. But the teacher said since he was 19 years old, that he was too old to go to school. And so he just left. And then he educated himself. And by much reading, he had a wonderful memory, and he studied hard. And I don't know of one man could drive down the road with a newspaper paper in one hand and drive with the other. And it's hard to do. But he did it. He educated himself. And he knew words. He got the dictionary out. He knew what he was talking about. And he was good to us children. He was a very good provider. But Mom and him didn't always agree on the provision that we got. Dad, he would leave on a trip, And when he'd come home, he would come home with cookies, candies, and lifesavers. You know, and he, and all good things to eat. And while we stayed at home with Mom, we had oatmeal. But that was a good combination. That was good for us. We grew up that way. A good provider and a good cook. And my dad too, when the girls got old enough that they should get them a husband, he was a campaigner. And he was very good to his daughters. I'll tell you, they had no trouble to get a husband because he was always there, and he'd point out this and that. The girls did get married a few times, and we had a real happy home. And Dad, he believed in prayer, and we had our family worship, and he'd always instruct us to be Christians. But my dad and mother, they didn't get converted till they was 34 years old. My dad was brought up as an Orthodox Catholic, and when he come from Russia, and my mother again, she was with the Holy Mennonite, but then neither one of them went to church. I mean, we had our own, we had a nice, because you could hear the words, he would open his mouth, and they just loved to sing when he led the song. He was a good singer. And my mother, she was a mother of the home. And a lot of times I wasn't too happy with her because we were such a wonderful mother and just stuck at home. And I thought Dad should stay at home too with her. She brought them to his way, and she took care of the home, and she gave us plenty to eat. And I know Saturday night what I enjoyed was bath night. We still don't like baths, but leave that as it is. But after we take our bath, why, then she would have cinnamon rolls and fresh bread. And I've never tasted any better than what my mother did. They were just wonderful. And he was a churchgoer. He was a discipline. And I know one time we went to church, and the girls were a little slow in combing their hair. And we got just a half a mile from church. And he said, "Girls, we're late." And you know what he did? He turned the car around. He said, "Next time you'll be on time." And I thought I remembered he never was late. And Dad, if he couldn't be there on time, we were on time. That's all to it. And that's the way he was. He was punctual and going to church. And he was, well, you might say he was easy to visit. People would like to know him. He could speak 7 different languages. But whenever my dad was in the home, everybody liked to listen. And I really miss him. Him and I were close together. Before he passed away, why, one day he said, "I want you to go with me." And I did. And he told me, he says, "Be sure to take care of Mom and all your brothers and sisters, and always tell them of the wonderful glory land above." He said, "I want all my sons and everyone to be a Christian. I want to see them in heaven." And I told him that. I told every one of my brothers and sisters to live in such a way that someday we can be a happy family in heaven.
You know, I enjoyed helping Mom. They was getting to me, maybe they spoiled me. I was the younger son, so that way I probably got some advantages, maybe some disadvantages, but I can give a good word for my folks. My mother, she clothed, maybe had to put a patch on my put some sugar on it and roll it up and put a toothpick in it, and by noon, it was good. I enjoyed it, no complaints. So, really for me, I can say that that I have a happy home and my folks treat me right. I lived with my mother for several years after Pop died, and after Pop died, she was lonely. And, I don't know if I helped her that much. I had my own life to live, but I tried to do the best I could with her, but I couldn't take the place of Pop. We got along good together, and I don't remember just the last words that she said, but we went and seen her in the rest home several times, and she always enjoyed it, but I noticed toward the last she was kind of quiet, and she didn't have too much to say. But she knew that her time was near, and we would get together and sing songs there and pray. It's a blessed time.
Sometime during my married life, one time I had to write an essay for CE in our church for Father's Day, and so I wrote that, and another time I had to write one for Mother's Day, and I wrote that, and I put those they're on the bulletin board here, one about my father and one about my mother. So this time I thought I'd write something about me. I was born at Ingalls in southwest Kansas on January 25th, 1931. Can you hear me over there? Bree says the folks went to Montezuma Church while living at Ingalls and later moved near Cimarron and went to Cimarron Church. There are two incidents I remember while living in that area. One Christmas afternoon, the folks Ann and I drove to Uncle Ian's and Grandpa Ratzlaff was there. Grandma had given Lucille and Vivian each a candy necklace for Christmas. This was just candy strung on a string. And I wished we could have some, but I don't think Grandma knew we were coming. And then there was the time I was forgotten asleep at the Montezuma Church on Sunday morning. The rest of the family must have driven a long ways before they realized I was missing. As they didn't come back for me, they called to someone at Montezuma, and I spent till toward evening with those folks and went to a tent meeting in some town for evening services with them. The folks also came to the tent meeting and took me home with them. It was a bad experience for a 2.5 or 3-year-old child. We moved to Walsh, Colorado in March 1934 when I was 3 years and 2 months old. Did our lane come in from the west from a road running north and south? Does anyone know? Do you know?
That would take Liz?
No, at Walsh, Colorado.
Oh.
Go ahead to the north.
Too long ago.
What?
Go ahead to the north.
Yes.
But another road went to the pasture, a shortcut to the west. That's what, it was just a path.
We went to school.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go to school. There was a picket fence north of the house, and one morning Ann and I got up and the dust had piled up so we could walk right over the fence without using the gate. The kitchen door was at the east, and there was a sink with a pump in the kitchen. There was a large long room running east and west at the north side of the house where the landlords had some of their possessions stored. And this was kept locked, but one time Mama had to go in there for the landlord's business papers or something, and we saw him there. Ann and I did. You could go to the basement from the kitchen. There was a very small room with many windows at the west end of the house. The only thing in that room was the landlady's geraniums, which Mama was to water. You remember that? Elsie hid me in a high cupboard once, I think in the bedroom, when Ann and I played hide and seek. I don't know where the bedrooms were. I can't remember. There was a building northeast of the house, and about the west 1/4 of it
was a wash house with many little window panes to the west, and the rest was a garage with doors to the east. The windmill and water tank were south of the garage. Jake, Ann, and I were playing in the tank in our underwear one day when a salesman came. Jake put his clothes on, and the salesman gave him some gum. But Ann and I hid in the garage. I think our clothes were in the house. But the man gave Jake some gum for us, too. That is all I remember about Walsh, Colorado. Jake says we moved to Fredonia on his birthday, August the 13th.
No, it's Milton.
February.
It's Milton.
Okay, Marie told me over the phone the other day it was Jake.
In
Okay,
Czech, it's Milton, not
okay. It was Milton's birthday.
February the 19th.
36.
What year?
36.
35.
I have it as 1935.
35.
You're right.
So we lived in Colorado from March 1935 to February
I was in the 5th grade. How old was it?
1935.
Or 1924.
That may be 4 years and 6.5 months old when we moved to Fredonia. We moved up on the hill first. Does anybody know when we moved to Oler's place? Is that Oler's place where Vernon and Ethel lived? The first time?
No.
Nobody knows. Well, but I mean, the first time that we moved to Oler's place before the house burned down. Does anybody know? Aiden's married September 18th, 1938, before the house burned. Their reception was in that house. And Clayton's married in 1941, up on the hill after the house burned. We moved back up there. And I've got it that our house burned in 1940. Jake, Ann, and I went to stay with Aiden's. And then Jake came back home and stayed with Uncle Fritz and finished the school year at Marino. You didn't stay at Aiden's the rest of the year, did you?
I stayed at Uncle Fred before I left the house. When I come home from Heston, I went home.
I see. I'll try to remember that. Ann and I stayed with Aiden and finished the school year at Anna School in Harvey County. Anna was in the 10 years old and in the 5th grade. I was 9 years old and in the 4th grade. And when our house burned down, Elsie was married, Marie was working in town, Mom, Milton, Jake, Ann, and I were home. And where was Pop?
I think he was home. I was at Heston.
No.
Pop was not home.
No,
He
Pop,
wasn't home then?
Pop was not home.
Yeah, Pop, I knew where Pop was. We went down and rented down in Wichita. Him and Milton was in a motel there on North Road.
No, look at
I don't know what year, but I know where Pop was when the house burned down.
Well, Milton wasn't there because Milton was home.
Because I carried your cedar
Well,
chest out.
then it was Johnny. One of the boys was with Pop, and we went down to find him in Wichita. We found him in a motel there on North Broadway. And told him about the house burned down.
Where were you, Elby?
I was at Elkins. Hey, Betty,
Yeah,
whose cedar chest? I carried somebody's.
Marie's.
I carried her cedar chest out.
That's all this saying was Mom's wash machine and my cedar chest. Because I bought Mom her first wash machine and the cedar chest on payment. I was working. And I would have to give $1 a week for the wash machine, $1 a week for my cedar chest. And so Mom was concerned. Mom was concerned that those two things would be saved. One was on the east side of the house and the cedar chest was on the other. And somehow or other they rolled it out. But when I knew that Milton had run without shoes all the way to Pete Schultz's, I felt guilty that they had saved my cedar chest. In a freezing weather, below zero, that boy ran without shoes.
Where did the folks?
They threw their shoes out and couldn't find them.
We've still got it, Milton, that cedar chest.
Yeah, we still have the cedar chest.
Okay, you moved on the hill, then you moved down to where Vernon's live, or Oler's, and
Yeah.
the house burned down.
Yeah.
Then you moved back on the hill,
Right.
then where did you move?
That moved back to
What-
They,
what-
they moved another house on there, and then we moved back into our house.
And then we moved back on the hill.
We lived in western Kansas. Mom used to go out and pasture to the east, right? And she would pick mushrooms and fry them. And I know she would say, pick these mushrooms, but don't pick these. Some of them are poisonous. Remember that, Elsie? Y'all remember the dust storm and when the dust storm come in? Well, we was out there in western Kansas, we were all playing baseball out in the field to the east. You remember, Betty? Yeah.
No, I see, I was only 3.
Oh, okay. Well, the dust storm, it was Sunday afternoon, we were all playing ball outside. Pretty soon we saw a big cloud coming up from the west, northwest. And so, all the aunts and uncles were there, Uncle Amy and Aunt Susan, Uncle Jake. I went home with Uncle Jake, we all left, and Pop was gone, I don't know where he was.
So was Mom. Pop and Mom went south.
They went to Durham to see Herman and Elsie. Herman and
Mom was
Elsie.
gone too?
Mom was with us. Mom was with us, so it was just his children.
Well, I went with Uncle Jake and Aunt Linda, and the storm hit us, and we got about 4 or 5 miles from the house, and I remember Uncle Jake getting outside, and Aunt Linda was driving, and we couldn't hardly see him with the lights on in the middle of the afternoon. But finally, we made it over there, and you went over there too, didn't you, Elsie?
Well, I was down at Grandpa's.
Yeah, but you come over and helped Uncle Jake do chores, didn't you?
And when that cloud started coming over, and we had them 4 horses on the wagon, and Grandpa never seen them. He said, my God, the name of that sand. And he did, and those horses, I raked them all the way.
And you went to Uncle Jake,
And we went to the south, yeah.
and then you and Uncle Jake went to feed the cows, you tied the rope in the house to the barn. And you come back crawling on your hands and knees, you said that when you raised up, the sand was too bad, you couldn't take it. Remember that?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
When the storm first come, the horses tried to get out of the fence, but there was a line in front of it. Everybody was scared to death.
Grandpa thought it was the end of the world. And he did unhook the horse, but that was all, and left them in the rock for their feet. And then everyone from our Grandpa put that. Yeah, it's still there, but then the dust thing.
Well, all right, then another time, we had a discussion. When we lived in Charleston, and I was about in the first or second grade, and there was red dust storms coming along. We'd never seen a red one before, because it comes from Oklahoma here. And my propaganda was gone, and Mom had us all kneeling down and prayed. It was the end of the world. Everything turned red. And then, do you remember when John and I hit the hospice, hit him with a stone or something, and it bucked the kid off? And Mrs. Hospice come out there in the field with trying to run us down with the car, me and John. She went around the circle, we were inside of the circle. Finally, we got away and got to the house. And Mom was so mad, she took a stick or something and read her the line. She went over there.
Bill, I have a request. I'd like for you to tell that time you two boys, I don't know if Jake was in on that or not, put something on the highway.
That was just phenomenal. When we lived next to the street. We went out there in the middle of the night to put corn shops in the middle of the street. John and I did. I don't know if Jake was. And we put up a shop in the middle of the road, and here come a car and almost wrecked, I guess, drove the ditch, hit the trees and everything. And after we saw that, I think we run out there and got it back down again.
Made a barricade.
It wasn't barricade.
Well, what was it?
Little pieces of paper
Western Kansas. When we were going to church, we had to drive a long way. I don't know how far it was. And the Elvie was driving. And Pop had a toothache. And he had these terrible neck aches. He did it. Every time he hit a little bump, you would jerk with the clutch or something, and Pop would scream at you. You remember that? Well, he didn't know what was wrong with him, and finally he went to the doctor, and the doctor pulled the tooth out, and it was fine. He had an access tooth.
Wasn't you the one that you went under barbed wire fence? I think it was you. And here you come in the running with the like when you were on the calf.
I don't remember that.
And you thought you were going to die.
I know what you're talking about. But you got it wrong. This was at Seminole. And I was driving a horse to you, and you were making the irrigation field, right?
Well, you still got the scar?
Yeah, still got it. And a wire, we hit a wire or something under the ground, and the thing come up and hit me on the head here. So that made you mad. You told me, go home. I was running all over the place, and I walked the fence, and then Elsie could tell the rest of it. She sat there and cried and raided me all night, and kept putting wet rags on it. You go to the doctor, you put a little kerosene on it. You remember that, Elsie?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. You thought I was but it's a long story. Yeah, that was a home run for kerosene. What's another?
Well, I think since he's got a break right in here, I just got word.
taking pictures?
I'm afraid so.
He just holding it there. It's made.
That's right.
Then we'll know who the Beckers are, you say?
Deckers. Here is Jack. Here is Jack.
Come on in. It's Jakob.
Yeah, that's me.
Surprise.
You don't even remember. Can I call you Foster?
Yeah, you sure can.
Okay. This is my wife.
Hi, how are you? Just call up and unexpectedly. You gotta come over here. You gotta come this way here a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, we were talking about all the pictures and things.
Oh, yeah, I
And
saw.
Susie said that she thought you had a picture of
I do.
Of the
the dugout
dugout.
house.
Can we at least see it?
You bet.
We usually have pictures of everything. Oh, great.
How did you get the picture? Nobody
That's
else?
where Gladys used to live in Montezuma. The house is gone. But you want to see the dugout? There it is. Been there for a couple of years. We want to go this year.
That's what Aunt Susie was
Now,
saying.
this is where Hattie was born.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's Bodecker's place,
Yeah. And protection.
protection.
Okay.
See, that's where the dugout is too there.
Oh, it is in the same area.
Yeah.
All right.
And I went clear around the house taking pictures. I had a Polaroid camera at that time.
Okay, this is the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just went and kept going around the house taking pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, Mom and Dad had built a little house, two-roomed house, up on a hill kind of like there, you know. My dad bought the 8 acres. That's
That's
protection.
Protection, yeah.
And then after that, they moved to Lehigh, and Dad was working in a butcher shop, and that's where Eleanor was born. And then they moved back, and then Hattie and Elsie were born there. No, Hattie and Marie, and then Elsie was the first baby at Montezuma.
Now I was parked here with her mother-in-law, and down this way about a mile or two and back over is where she was born. I was
The
kind of
house
afraid to
and
drive
everything
there.
was
It was
gone.
kind of wet, and I was afraid I might get stuck out there.
Yeah.
And she said everything's gone. There's nothing left there.
Oh,
And this is the place where you worked.
I can't see. I was only 12
There
years
should be a
old
picture in there somewhere of all that's left of the school is just a foundation.
That looks almost like the house in Colorado, but that's not it.
No,
Grandma and
no.
Grandpa.
That's a protection.
That's a protection.
This is all protection.
And when I walked around that Bodecker house, I couldn't have stumbled on a bunch of machinery, so I took a picture of it. It was out there in the weeds.
You should have got that.
Yeah.
You brought it with you.
Yeah. Now this here is
Come
Uncle
over this
Enid's
way,
in here and
Aunt
Aunt Susie.
Somehow, so they can all see.
We had a Christmas at Beaver Flats.
That's you.
Sure enough. And there's Gladys.
Yeah.
Uncle
Who's
Enid's in there
this?
somewhere in some of them
Is that
pictures.
Arwen? There's Enoch.
That's Aunt Susie. That's Gladys.
Yeah.
And there's Enoch.
Yeah.
We don't even know
Is
how
this
I got
Betty
those,
or
Aunt
some of
Susie.
them, or is that way before? That there
How
looks
did
more
you get
like Elsie.
Got 'em, Bo Hottie.
No, she
Boy,
wouldn't
hottie,
be.
I ain't heard that in a long time.
Who is that? What'd she say?
Boy, hottie.
That's Marie.
That's what I figured. It was Marie. And who is this one?
That's probably Janet Johnson.
No. Janet wouldn't.
I don't know who that is.
It's one of the girls in the family, but I can't tell her sitting that way.
Okay.
There's some more.
There's Elmer.
Yeah, it sure is. Is he gone now?
Oh,
Yeah. There's
He's
Hattie.
been gone since '82.
Yeah, there's
It's
Betty.
82.
That-
What
Isn't that Ruby?
Whatever happened? Did he go into trucking business or something?
For a while, he was in a trucking business.
Up in South Carolina or someplace?
Yeah, well, he was from Hutchinson. He went up into Iowa and then back down to Hutchinson. He hauled salt up north and brought corn a mile
There's Hattie.
grain back. But at this time, when he was
Mom.
That there?
That's Mom.
yeah.
Oh. It's Anna.
Well, I don't know why. She
Yeah.
looks different than I
That's
ever
Virgie.
remembered her.
That's Rodney and that's Marianne,
Mm.
Rod's wife.
Who's this? Looks like Eleanor.
That's Virgie.
And that's Anna there.
Yeah. I sure don't remember.
That's my
looking like
youngest
that.
sister.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember Virgie. takes a while.
Oh, I like this too. That'd be a really pretty one at Christmas.
Yeah, but
wouldn't
you
it?
gotta put something underneath it, don't you?
Yeah,
sure,
you
you
sew it
put
all
your-
together.
You have to put
then
your
you put it-
filler.
Filler in and then
And your
another.
bottom.
And Susie finished hers.
Quilted on the
Yeah, to see what
lines.
Aunt Susie wanted.
Yeah, but Diane got a new sewing machine for Christmas and she hasn't even used it yet.
Well, see, that'd give her a good chance.
This is one just like that.
Which
Yes.
one?
This red one is just like that.
Oh, it's like that one.
Show them all of them, Mom.
She is. She's got a.
Look at these.
Look at the work in this one.
Milton said, hang on, hold up, back out.
Oh, I like that one too.
She's got about any kind of pattern you want.
See, how many beds do we have? 3 beds.
You lived on the farm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
always
it's
had,
rough.
had everything in there.
Yeah, I took care of you boys, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Cooked for 'em and you went hunting. Why, did you help shear
Yeah.
sheep?
Yeah, helped Elvis shear sheep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you, and then you'd come there and you'd bring your dirty sheets or shirts with me to iron them for 'em, wash them and iron them.
Yeah, I sure would.
This is the same.
And,
Those are the same.
and then after that, I guess, why, you kept coming all the time. You was here. Then you and Irvin went ahead and worked on that combine. You cut some wheat.
Right, sure did.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Grandma and Grandpa moved out there in
yeah,
that little house. You remember that?
yeah.
Yeah. And you had electric system. What was it? A bunch of batteries?
Yeah, it was kind of a, I don't know how you call it, but it wasn't electric. It farmed its own thing, you know.
Made its own electricity.
Yeah. And we had them lights and everything in the house then too,
Yeah.
at first, you know.
Yeah, the windmill would turn, wouldn't it? Or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. And there was a whole bunch of batteries, like 100 and some batteries. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they were in that, we call it a little powerhouse.
Right. Okay.
But you know, Dale has moved away my water house. You know, when we had that explosion, you probably didn't know that. We had that explosion, and we had our house blew up inside. Then we moved in that little house over there by that powerhouse, and that's where I cooked and stuff in. And of course, we had the bed in the house until Enoch had the buildings all put back. Then Enoch and I, we made the 2 bedrooms on the west side, and we put in that big kitchen, and then we went ahead and put a utility room on the west side, on the south side, and then Enoch made me a real pretty pantry on the north side, which I really hated to leave.
Did you, when you come in from the east side, did you kind of come up some steps or something?
Yeah, we come in and then we come on up to the south on them
Yeah.
steps.
Okay, yeah. That was.
And then we come into the kitchen, but we did have a room on the west side to come in the bedrooms there.
Right.
We had a porch there on the west side.
Was that how you
That's
fixed
right
it
in
after it
front.
blew up? Okay. How was it before that? I don't remember.
We just had 4 rooms in that house.
Okay.
And then we built in the 2 bedrooms and made that hall. And then we made the utility and made the kitchen way bigger. We have the 15 by 20 kitchen in there now. It was all cabinets and everything in there. More cabinets that I needed, and Vicky said I can use them all even. And then in my pantry I had little drawers of all kind that I could put
Did they-
rice
did-
and
did
all
they-
kind of stuff in it.
Did Enoch make all of those things? Everything, huh?
That pantry, he made that, me and him. We made
Yeah.
that pantry and about lifted ourselves up to put that sheet rock up, you know, and everything. We really worked. And same way with our utility, we did that. We had Neil Unruh to come and wire it for us. And then I'd sit there days in and days out, painting the fences and painting inside in the house. We had all of the rooms painted. And then I painted all the wooden fences. And do you know now, Dale has taken every one of them up. If you walk by there, you wouldn't even know it's a place.
Took all the fences down?
And wooden fences and everything.
Oh.
It breaks my heart. I can hardly go there to see it, but then it's not mine no more.
There was also a big tree that he cut down too.
Yes.
A great big
Yeah,
elm, what was it, elm tree or something?
Yeah, I guess that's what it does. China elm. All got married in 1 year. And that left us younger ones
Early
at home,
morning,
you know.
I guess.
And then we still had to be 9 or 10, 12 with Mom and Dad.
Did you get lost in the shuffle of that many children? Or did you each
Mom
have
had
your
a
own?
great big skillet of gravy on top of the table, and then homemade bread, a couple of loaves, and had that cut. There we had our breakfast.
Yeah. But you kids, you probably all had to snatch it faster. You wouldn't get any.
Well,
How much tape do you have there?
I went ahead. I was Dad's hard man. After the older ones left, I was his hard man. He put me out to work in the field. Me and Herman were put out when we bought over there at Cimarron. We were put out there on a place over there and was left there a whole week by ourselves. I had 8 horses to harness, and he had 4. And we worked the land with them.
And how long
I harnessed them all morning, and we fed them and everything. And we laid in the barge to sleep to get on. And the worst of it was we had a little few groceries in the house, and the people that still lived there, we only had 1 room. Then they went ahead and took everything we had in that house and ate it.
Oh, no.
So all we had left, now listen to this, all we had left was some ginger snaps. And I told Herman, I said, they are not going to get these ginger snaps. We're going to eat them. And then they had a cow in the barn. She had long, great old horns on, you know. And I said, I am going to milk that cow. We'll get up real early and get us a little milk. And with them ginger snaps, we're going to make us something to eat. So do you know, the next day Herman was so, you know what ginger snaps will do. All right, all he did was, you know, he was sick.
Oh.
From the milk or the ginger?
From the ginger.
You want to
This is
get
the
it?
birds of the state.
No, I'll walk and get it.
This is the birds,
Seen something like this.
birds of each state. Now, I've heard of it, but I don't think, now, look at the work in that. This is embroidery now, it's not
Yeah,
cross
but
stitch.
still-
Yeah, it's embroidery, but then this is machine stitch.
Delaware, Iowa.
It didn't quit.
Yeah, each one of them's got the letter. See it? Tennessee,
Yeah, it is.
Kentucky.
I think there's 48 of them. If I'm not mistaken, we don't have the 2 states in here, but then they weren't in here then. At that time.
Massachusetts.
You made it that long ago, huh?
Milton's gonna get a picture.
They just put the other one away, huh? You didn't
Oh,
miss
that's
anything so far.
That's the one I saw that had the
You
writing.
know, hold that up so I can get at least 1 state flower in here.
Let's see, where's Georgia?
Yeah.
Texas, Wisconsin.
Louisiana. That's,
Georgia, zoom in right here.
where's your fingers?
Georgia. And now where's Kansas?
Is that the dogwood?
Are they in the,
I think it's a tree.
Cherokee Rose is Georgia, I think.
Indiana, New Jersey, Idaho, Arizona? Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
All right, turn around.
Now tell us a story about this, Susan.
What shall I say about it? Wait.
Where was it done?
It was done in my house here, and the girls helped me, and I did the most of the quilting all myself.
All right, take a picture.
Oh.
When did you make this?
It's about a year ago.
How long did it take?
took me quite a while.
So you
It
still
did, it
have the
took me
nimble
quite.
fingers, huh?
Yeah. Then I didn't have my broken thumb.
How'd that happen?
I went and stumbled.
That slowed you down a little, huh?
Yeah. That was it.
Where Pop come from, or can you tell us where your grandma and grandpa come from?
Well, they came from Russia.
Same place that Pop was.
Well, does your book say that?
No, but I think Pop told me that.
See, Mom and Dad, this is my copy. This is not my original book.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yours is orange, ours is black.
Well, this is just, see, this is just me typing.
Okay.
And you see right over here, here's Mom and Dad, my grandma and grandpa. And see, they were, my mother, my grandma on Dad's side was born in Poland, Russia. And also, grandpa, my grandpa was in village, Antonoffel.
Okay. Now that's all in the book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mom and Dad over here, see, they were born in Volinsky, Mom and Dad.
But it was still in Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like Friedenstahl, Volinsky, Russia. And you've got that all in there.
Right. All right, before that, had they come from Holland then?
You know, they say that they were in Holland and they went out from Holland. Or did they come out of the Russia and had to go to Holland?
No, they come from, the way I heard it, they come from Holland and went to Russia.
Yeah, because that is where the war was.
Right.
And they had to leave Poland. But you see, my grandma Ratzlaff was born in Poland. Right,
Poland or Holland?
Poland, Russia.
Okay. In a little town called Poland, Russia.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my grandpa wasn't. He's in the Antonovsky.
Okay. Grandpa Ratzlaff.
Yeah.
Your grandpa.
Mhm.
Okay.
And now your grandma and grandpa were in the village of. How do you pronounce it?
Stroganoff?
Volinsky. Volinsky.
Okay, that was Bernard J. Ratzlaff.
Yeah.
Your father.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mom was in Friedenstahl.
Was
F-I-R-S, Furstenthal.
But she was born in Russia too?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so was, see, my sister, I had a sister there. She was born in Russia, Magdalena.
Yeah.
But then Pete and Lena and all them were here.
Were born in this country.
Yeah, in Kansas. In Kansas. No, in United States.
In the United States, which is Kansas, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but was Grandpa and Grandpa Russian then?
Well, I always had it, and that's the way they always said that.
That they were Russians too?
See, they come across.
Yeah.
Mother come across with, her mother didn't even come. My grandma didn't even come along when she came. But Mom and Dad got married in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, they got married in Russia, and they even got the one that married them, John Bays, Mom and Dad. But then they stayed long enough that they had my sister there, Magdalena. But she was just born, and Mother was very sick when she come on the ship.
Okay.
And then it didn't take long after that, they had Pete here again. You know, us children were all born, not even quite 2 years apart. Not even that.
And there was 20 of you.
20 of them. And there was only 9 of us that got married.
The rest all died young.
Before they, well, you see, we had that scarlet fever. and then so many of them died. Well, we see there was 3 of them died in 4 months.
From scarlet fever. Yeah. Well, I don't know where I got the idea that they had come from Holland and went to Russia, and then they had to leave Russia.
They did. They left. They had to leave Russia too.
Okay.
But there was 2 of Mom's sisters that stayed there, and they were in with some of them big shots over there, I should say, you know. They married some of them big men.
Russians.
Yeah. And they couldn't come along because their men were there.
Yeah.
But Mom and Dad, and then of course my dad's brothers and sisters all came too. But not them 2 sisters of Mom didn't. Mom only had one brother, and that was Uncle Pete.
Yeah.
The rest of them were all girls, you know.
I didn't know they were all girls.
They were all
Okay.
girls.
Did they know did they know George Miaskill with that all?
No, I don't think they did. I think they didn't know George until he come here. See, Uncle John and Aunt Julie came.
Yeah.
And then later, George came.
Right.
So they didn't know George until he was with Uncle John's, and then George happened to see Lena then. He come to protection. To get acquainted.
You know, he was selling harvester equipment, wasn't he?
Something like that. I don't even know. I was so young at that time, I don't even know. Well, I guess I wasn't young. I was only about 11, 12. Well, I was 12 years old, I think, when George and Lena got married. And George, nothing else, he wanted me to sit on his lap.
Well, when they got married.
When they got married. I was his girl. And I was Lena, your mom's girl, all the time. She was a very dear sister to me. She stuck to me, and whatever there was, she was with me.
How much older was she than you?
Well, she was one of the first ones. See, I was the 12th. So she must have.
She was the oldest one, at least that grew up to be big.
She was born in 1895, and see, I was born in 1908.
13 years difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was 13 years old when you were born then.
Mm-hmm. I can remember that, and I was always hers. We had to change off in the house. Anna had to be in the house one time, and she had to. And then Lena chose me to be with her, and Anna chose Minnie. When we had to go outside to milk, well, I went with Lena. And when Anna did, well, then Minnie went with her.
Oh, okay.
And me and Lena stuck together all the time. Even after they were married, me and your dad got into it one time. I guess you knew that.
No, I don't ever remember hearing that.
Yeah, a little bit we got, but we got straightened out with that, and I still made them a whole lot of stuff. You'd always, you know, they'd come to our place, and then they'd be there for dinner, you kids were, you know, and we'd be together and have a meal all the time. My house is always company.
You remember when I come home and helped you pick peaches at Fredonia?
Yes.
You had real good peach orchards. Those were
All
real
right.
good peaches.
I know, and we canned, and I had Marie to help me.
Yeah. And you used to make potato, what do you call them, cakes or something, or pies? And you had when you lived over there at Fredonia, you'd have a whole bunch, all of you'd get together and cook after church on Sunday. We'd eat.
And we would always get together with these potato cakes for the evening.
Yeah.
With Jake and Lindy. They had cows.
Yeah.
And we had cows. And of course we made our home cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And then we would go ahead and make the potato cakes, and then we'd say, whistle and say, come on along, let's have some potato cakes. And we'd all get together and have potato cakes, and of course we'd have some kind of meat and stuff, most generally chicken.
Yeah.
Because I had my homegrown chicken too at that time. Is he still got me a
Was
going?
it all right to use these?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what they are.
I thought so. I know we used them last time. So we can sit there right there.
Well, you should have put yourself.
The quilting
I
rack.
guess you learned to keep everything upstairs.
This is the rack she puts visitors on when they come and spend too much time and demand too many things.
That's my bedroom. She does all of her canning, getting it neat. I love it.
Hurry to the right.
This is your bedroom here?
Not mine, that's their bedroom.
Great. And a
There's a whole other house
downstairs.
down here.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this sink after sink. Oh my goodness, you got.
Here's my room.
Refrigeration.
Oh, no, you got a hand me down. I mean, first class. My grandmothers don't look nothing like this.
And then there's my sticks.
My grandmothers don't look nothing like this.
doesn't it?
Holy.
Enid made that
What'd she say today?
Really?
Then you just roll it. There's 4 boards.
And then, yeah, I've seen my mom and them do that, where you just turn the boards over and roll
Yeah.
the cloth under it.
That's what you got quilted.
You got all of that, Rick?
I do, I know,
You
I've
see
seen
how
other
that
grandmas
works?
do them. Only what we're gonna
You're
do
smart
is
enough
get
to
Mother
build
and
that,
grandmother
aren't you?
help.
Don't talk to the cameraman.
We get Jody and Mother and Grandmother all out there helping.
You got somebody to make you quilting frame. If he's got a picture
My
of it,
grandmother has one, and she moved from the farm down there way up to the town, and she don't use hers, so I could use hers for a while.
yeah, but you want one like this.
I'd love to have one like that. If Milton,
Well,
Milton
he is gonna
designed
see
one.
that you get one like
Yeah.
that.
All right, let's turn it around a little bit. See how it's made there, Rick?
Just get the pattern of it.
Leave it there. Hold it.
Have you seen my composter, Milton?
I'm not
There,
gonna make
like
a
that.
compost.
That there is.
Oh.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's you, I guess.
Susanna.
Yeah, he burnt it in there, made it with wire.
Oh, he did on all of that
Susanna.
stuff.
How
He
about that?
surprised me.
Area.
It's not like a cellar really, but it is cool and stuff.
Robin.
There we go.
Robin. Where'd she go?
Robin's busy in the canning room.
Oh, she's in the canners. Cellars.
Uh-huh.
And what's this here? Beans, some kind of big old beans.
Did you see my basement?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Rick to. How much have you
Show
put
a
up
quick
since
pan.
last
This
year?
is how you.
I got that
What are you
for-
doing? Get out of my way.
for my,
We'll get over here, we can do it then.
Oh, okay. Is that the table?
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Rick, you might have to get over there and help too. 1982. That's my birthday.
My Valentine
82,
to Susanna.
just
Wait a minute.
before he passed away.
82.
I didn't know he did that
You didn't know he put this on here?
all the time.
Sweetheart. That is beautiful.
You got it wrong side up. Turn it around.
Oh. I know he's definitely got a lot of strong, I mean, there's nothing
Yeah, and
spindly about
he
this
made
thing.
the girls each one like that.
Real Queen Anne, you know what I mean? But this could be country, contemporary, or anything really.
There's no doubt about it, he loved you, didn't he?
He had his workshop, and when we'd be out working so hard and it'd be raining or something, he says, okay, he says, I'll go to my workshop, and you go to your typewriter, and you do what you want to do, and I'll... See, my birthday was in August, and he died in October.
Perhaps.
This is your scrapbook, huh? from
Yeah,
your
they all
children?
wrote in there, and that's kind of... See, if you guys didn't all want to go leave me, you could read that in there.
That's beautiful.
Perhaps Jesus parted the curtain up in heaven and allowed him to see the bottom of that table. And then he smiled.
I guess. He comes to me. You know, at first it got me so bad all the time. I did so much crying. And he
I'm
come
trying to keep all this straight when I...
He come to me and he said, why do you cry so much all the time? He says, why don't you come and sit down?